lime in the coconut. She drank and poured up. She put the lime in the coconut.
Hello and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie. And this week, since we're in the middle of summer, we thought it would be appropriate to pick some beach reads. So we're in our beach hats and shades. Jill, what's your first pick for a beach read?
My first pick is by Jen McKinley. You might be familiar with this author, called Summer Reading. This was just published in May of this year. When a woman would rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making one hot summer fling in New York Times bestselling author Jen McKinley's new rom-com. For Samantha Gale, A Summer on Martha's Vineyard at her family's tiny cottage was supposed to be about resurrecting her career as a chef until she's tasked with chaperoning her half-brother Tyler. The teenage brainiac is spending his summer at the local library in a robotics competition, and there's no place Sam, who's dyslexic, likes less than the library. And because the universe hates her, the library's interim director turns out to be the hot reader guy whose book she accidentally destroyed in the ferry ride to the island. Bennett Reynolds is on the quest to find his father, whose identity he's never known. He's taken the temporary job on the island to research the summer his mother spent there when she was pregnant with him. Ben tells himself he isn't interested in a relationship right now, yet as soon as Sam knocks his book into the ocean, he can't stop thinking about her. An irresistible attraction blossoms when Ben inspires Sam to create the cookbook she's always dreamed about, and she jumps all in on helping him find his father, and soon they realize their summer fling may heat up into a happily ever after. So, summer reading.
In my first pick, I have to say I picked by the cover because I thought this cover was the cutest. This is Kristen Higgins, A Little Ray of Sunshine, and this was just published in May. So, a kid walks into your bookstore, and guess what? He's your son, the one you put up for adoption 18 years ago, the one you never told anyone about. Surprise! And a huge surprise it is. It's a huge surprise to his adoptive mother, Monica, who thought she had a close relationship with Matthew, her nearly adult son. But apparently, he felt the need to secretly arrange a vacation to Cape Cod for the summer so he could meet his birth mother, without a word to either her or his dad. It's also a surprise, to say the least, to Harlow, the woman who secretly placed her baby for adoption so many years ago. She spent the years then building a quiet life. She runs a bookstore with her grandfather, hangs out with her 4 younger siblings, and is more or less happily single, though she can't help gravitating toward Grady Byrne, her old friend from high school. He's moved back to town, 3-year-old daughter in tow, no wife in the picture. But she's always figured her life had to be child-free, so that complicates things. When Matthew walks into Harlow's store, she faints. Monica panics, and all their assumptions about being a parent and what it means explode. The summer will be full of more surprises as both their families are redefined and as both women learn that for them, there's no limit for a mother's love. So check out A Little Ray of Sunshine with the hammock, with the dog and the lady in there. It's too cute.
Very cute. My next pick is a funny one, A Swamp Story by Dave Barry. Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times bestselling author and actual Florida man, Dave Barry returns with a Florida caper full of oddballs and more twists and turns than a snake slithering away from a gator. Jessie Braddock is tapped in a tiny cabin deep in the Everglades with her infant daughter and ex-boyfriend, a wannabe reality TV star who turned out to be a lot prettier on the outside than on the inside. Broke and desperate for a way out, Jessie stumbles across a long-lost treasure, which could solve all their problems if she can figure out how to keep it. The problem is some very bad men are also looking for the treasure, and they know Jessie has it. Meanwhile, Ken Bortle of Bortle Brothers Bait and Beer has hatched a scheme to lure tourists to his failing store by making viral videos of the Everglades melon monster. The monster is in fact an unemployed alcoholic newspaper man named Phil, wearing a Dora the Explorer costume head. Incredibly, this plan actually works, inspiring a horde of TikTokers to swarm into the swamp in search of the monster. At the same time, villains are on the hunt for Jessie's treasure. Amid this mayhem, a presidential hopeful arrives in the Everglades to start his campaign. Needless to say, it does not go as planned. In fact, nothing in the story ever goes as planned. This is, after all, Florida.
Swamp story. I love it, Jill. My next pick is also in our new collection. This came out in April this year to our collection, and it's The Seaside Library by Brenda Novak. There are secrets that bring friends together and others that drive them apart. Mariner's Island is barely 10 miles long, but when Ivy, Ariana, and Cam were teenagers, it was their whole world. Beyond the pristine beaches and iconic lighthouse lies the beautiful old library that belongs to Ivy's family. While that bound Ivy to the island as an adult, Ariana could not leave Mariners behind fast enough. The town holds too many memories, not only her unrequited feelings for Cam, but the tragedy that left a scar in the community. When a young girl went missing, a teenage Cam was unthinkably the prime suspect. Ariana and Ivy knew he couldn't have hurt anyone, and they promised to protect him even if it meant lying on his behalf. Now, 20 years later, Ariana returns to Mariners just as new evidence emerges on the case, calling into question everything the three friends thought they knew and everything they thought they could trust. So, check out this book and see what really happened all those years ago and what's going to happen in present day.
I like that cover too. It's like reading on the beach. So my next one is from this author pair, Christina Loren. This is two girls who write together, and they have some fun books. And this is their newest one, The True Love Experiment, which was out in May of this year. Felicity Fizzy Chen is lost. Sure, she's got an incredible career as a beloved romance novelist with a slew of bestsellers under her belt. But when she's asked to give a commencement address, it hits her. She hasn't been practicing what she's preached. Fizzy hasn't ever been in love. Lust, definitely. But that swoon-worthy can't stop thinking about him all-encompassing feeling? Nope, nothing. What happens when the optimism she spent on her career encouraging readers starts to feel like a lie? Connor Prince, a documentary filmmaker and single father, loves his work in large part because it allows him to live near his daughter. But when his profit-minded boss orders him to create a reality show, putting his job on the line, Connor is out of his element. Desperate to find his romantic lead, a chance run-in with exasperated Fizzy offers Connor the perfect solution. What if he could show the queen of romance herself falling head over heels for all the world to see? Fizzy gives him a hard pass unless he agrees to her list of demands. When he says yes and the production is on, the true love experiment begins. And Connor wonders if that perfect match will ever be in the cards for him, too. The True Love Experiments is a book fans have been waiting for ever since Fizzy's debut in The Soulmate Equation. But when the lights come on and all eyes are on her, it turns out the happily ever after Fizzy had all but given up on might just be behind the camera. So, True Love Experiment.
Third pick, also from our new collection, this is Denise Hunter's A Novel Proposal. From the best-selling author of The Convenient Groom, which became a Hallmark original movie, comes a sweet and sizzling story of a romance writer surprised by her own happily ever after. When novelist Sadie Goodwin is forced to stop writing westerns and charged with penning a contemporary romance novel to rescue that lackluster sales, there's only one tiny problem. She's never been in love. Desperate to salvage her career, Sadie begins devouring romance novels. Knowing she must devote herself to this confounding genre, she accepts an invitation to hole up at her friend's beach duplex for the summer. Sounds like a good invite. Where better to witness love and bloom than on the beautiful North Carolina shore? However, once ensconced in the charming oceanfront home with her sweet Maltipoo Rio, she finds many ways to procrastinate. Well, first, there's the beach right outside her back door with all its interesting visitors. Then there's the free library she decides to build and set up by the back deck. She has to do something with all those romance novels she's been reading. To say nothing of Sam Ford, the grumpy neighbor on the other side of the duplex, who she can't seem to stop annoying. A social butterfly by nature, Sadie soon gets to know all the beach regulars, sunbathers, walkers, and surfers alike. The free books draw a crowd right up to the house for nice little book chats, which further irritates her reclusive neighbor. To break up her writing. But things take an unexpected turn when Sadie opens a recently placed novel to find a secret compartment, and tucked inside is a beautiful engagement ring. Ooh. To whom does the ring belong? Sadie is convinced she needs to find the owner and save the man's proposal from certain doom. So, will she find the ring's rightful owner? And will she manage to pen a career-saving romance novel by summer's end? You have to check out this book, A Novel Proposal by Denise Hunter.
I didn't realize how many beach reads have writers in them.
I know. All my picks had like little free libraries or bookstores, or must have been what I gravitated towards.
Summer equals books. My next one is by Emily Henry, who's one of my favorite rom-com authors now. So this is called A Happy Place. And I actually read this book, and everyone I know that read it said it put them in a happy place.
Aw.
So that's fun. Harriet and Wynne have been a perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 6 months ago, and they still haven't told their friends. Which is how they find themselves sharing the largest bedroom at a Maine cottage that has been their friend group's yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual respite from the world, where for one vibrant blue week they leave behind their daily lives, have copious amounts of cheese, wine, and seafood, and soak up the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Wynne are lying through their teeth while trying not to notice how desperately they still want each other, because the cottage is for sale, and this is the last week they'll have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friends' hearts, and so they play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Will will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. It's a flawless plan if you look at it from a great distance and through a pair of sunscreen-smeared sunglasses. After years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those that you know best? Happy place.
All right, faking it.
Faking it.
Also in this book. My next pick is Kiss Me, Mi Amor by Elena Quintana Albertson, and this is also in our new collection. This just came out in July. So turns out that a fake relationship is the perfect recipe for a love that sizzles hotter than Santa Barbara's spiciest salsa when it's between enemies. Enrique Montez, smooth-talking heir to the Taco King empire, is man enough to admit that he made a critical error when he underestimated Carolina Flores. The agricultural hotshot should have been an easy conquest. Who would turn down the chance to partner with California's largest fast food chain? But instead of signing her name on the dotted line, Carolina has Enrique eating out of the palm of her hand, and when fate steps in with an unexpected opportunity, he is willing to do whatever it takes to capture her heart. Growing up as the daughter of farm workers, Carolina spent her youth picking strawberries in the fields of Santa Maria and vowing to improve the lives of people like her parents. Now, as one of only a few Latina farm owners, she has no time for romance, and she's certainly not about to let the notorious Montez brother anywhere near her business, even if just being near Enrique makes her skin tingle. But she is willing to let him help get her over-involved family off her back. When Carolina's father and her lovelorn sisters mistake Enrique for her non-existent boyfriend, she reluctantly agrees to a series of pretend dates to their town's traditional Mexican-American holiday celebrations. Soon the fake feelings turn real, and both of them must convince each other to take a chance on love before their vacation romance is over.
Aww.
So, check this out in the new section, Kiss Me, Mi Amor.
So my next one is like not so much beach romance, but more a little bit mystery here and some history. Fiona Davis, The Spectacular. This was just published in June of this year. New York City, 1956. 19-year-old Marion is over the moon to have been selected to be one of the Rockettes, Radio City Music Hall's glamorous precision dancing troupe. It's an honor to perform the world's most spectacular theater, an Art Deco masterpiece. But with 4 shows a day, as well as grueling rehearsals, not to mention exacting standards to perfection to live up to, Marion quickly realizes that life of a Rockette has both extraordinary highs and devastating lows. Then one night, a bomb explodes in the theater. It's only the latest in a string of explosions around the city, orchestrated by a person the press has named the Big Apple Bomber. They have been terrorizing the citizens of New York for 16 years by planting bombs in popular, crowded spaces. With the public in an uproar over the lack of any real leads after a years-long manhunt, the police, at Marion's urging, turn in desperation to a radical new technique, psychological profiling. As Marion finds herself pulled deeper into the investigation, she realizes as much as she has been training herself to blend in, performing in perfect unison with all the other identical Rockettes, if she hopes to catch the bomber, she'll need to stand out and take a terrifying risk. But she may be forced to sacrifice everything she's worked for, as well as the people she loves the most. So, The Spectacular.
And couldn't resist this one. You know, you got to have these cozies in there. So my last pick is Death by Beach Read.
Yeah.
By Eva Cates. This was published in June of 2022. Librarian Lucy's new historic house comes with a lot of baggage and family secrets. Can she put them to rest, or will a killer bring Lucy's family to their downfall? This is the 9th book in the Lighthouse Library Mystery Series. It's spring in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and Lucy and Connor have moved into their new home at last. It's a historic cottage, and it needs a lot of renovations, but they worked hard over the winter to get it ready. Lucy is now happily immersed in her work at the Bodie Island Lighthouse Library, planning her wedding and decorating the house. That is, until a dead body disrupts her peaceful new abode. The first night Lucy's alone in the house with the company of Charles the library cat, she hears sounds. Investigating, they see footsteps in the dust of the unfinished living room, and the door to the outside is open. Lucy's reminded that the house is said to be haunted 40 years ago by the teenage daughter of the owners who fled in the night and never again stepped foot inside the family home. But the sounds have an all-too-human origin, and one evening, Lucy and Connor find the dead body of a man they don't even recognize in their kitchen. They soon realize he has a long-time connection to this house. Lucy's forced to find out what happened all those years ago and why it's threatening her happiness today. Meanwhile, the Classic Novel Reading Club is reading The House of the Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne, a book about another old house full of secrets. Can Lucy find parallels to her own situation in Hawthorne's fiction before the killer strikes again? So if you're interested in this, the first book in this series is By Book or By Crook, which was published back in 2015.
And you have a cat on the cover. You had one with a dog and one with a cat. How equal. Well, we hope we helped you find some good beach reads if you're going to be headed to the beach and want something to read.
Thank you for watching our videos. You know you find us on our Kimberly Public Library website, which links to YouTube, or on our Facebook page. Please share with us what you're reading this summer. We haven't had a lot of comments about what anybody's reading this summer, so we always like to hear from you, and if you have a good recommendation for a book. So until next time, we thank you for watching. Bye.